Mars has a scar, a wound that stretches 2,500 miles across its surface, roughly the distance from New York to Los Angeles. It's called Valles Marineris, and it's 4 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. NASA calls it a tectonic rift valley. But here's the problem. Mars doesn't have plate tectonics. It doesn't have the geological mechanism that creates rift valleys. So how did it get there? Some researchers have proposed something that sounds insane. What if it wasn't geological? What if Valles Marineris is a scar from a weapon? Evidence of a planetary-scale conflict that left Mars a dead world. Episode 3 of the 4th Signal Files is set on Mars 90,000 years ago. A research station hosting 2 alien species before catastrophe strikes. It's fiction. Beautiful science fiction. But Mars itself is not fiction. And what we're finding there is harder to explain than most people realize. This is the 4th Signal Files debriefing. I'm Liam Erswell, and today we're exploring a world that died under mysterious circumstances. Consciousness research that challenges everything we think we know. And the uncomfortable question Episode 3 forces us to ask. What if choice and memory could outlive worlds? Quick warning, Resonance. This debrief contains major spoilers for Episode 3. If you haven't listened yet, go experience Tavorian and Alia's story first, then come back here. Episode 3 is where our series goes from archaeological mystery to cosmic love story. It's based on speculative concepts woven together with real science, documented Mars anomalies, and cutting-edge consciousness research. Some of it is pure fiction. Some of it is happening in labs right now. And some of it, we honestly don't know yet. Note, we covered DNA data storage extensively in Episode 2's debrief, so we won't rehash that here. Instead, we're diving deep into Mars mysteries and the nature of consciousness itself. Let's separate the documented facts from the creative speculation, while asking the bigger question. Where's the boundary between impossible and just not yet possible? Let's find out. Episode 3 opens on Mars 90,000 years ago, a dying world hosting a joint research station between 2 alien species. This is not just fiction. Mars itself is very real, and what we've found there is genuinely mysterious. Let's start with what we know for certain. Mars once had liquid water. The evidence is overwhelming. Ancient riverbeds, minerals that only form in water, polar ice caps, and recent discoveries of subsurface liquid water. But here's where it gets interesting. Mars lost its atmosphere catastrophically fast, faster than natural processes should allow. The MAVEN mission revealed that Mars is losing atmosphere to space at an accelerated rate even today. But the isotope ratios in Martian rocks tell us something dramatic happened long time ago. Mars went from potentially habitable to hostile in what's, geologically speaking, an eye blink. Now let's talk about Mars's most enigmatic feature, Valles Marineris. This canyon system is 2,500 miles long, 120 miles wide in places, and up to 7 miles deep. To put that in perspective, if you placed it on Earth, it would stretch from Los Angeles to New York. The Grand Canyon could fit inside it like a minor tributary. NASA's official explanation is that Valles Marineris is a tectonic rift valley. formed as the crust pulled apart. There's just one problem. Mars is a one-plate planet. It doesn't have the plate tectonics needed to create rift valleys. Earth's Great Rift Valley formed from continental plates pulling apart. Mars doesn't have that mechanism. Dr. John Brandenburg, the plasma physicist who studied Mars for decades, has proposed something that sounds like science fiction. What if Valles Marineris isn't geological at all? What if it's a blast scar from a massive directed energy weapon? His analysis points to several disturbing facts. The canyon's profile matches what you'd expect from a grazing high-energy plasma discharge, not tectonic rifting. The walls show vitrification, rock that's been melted and re-solidified, similar to nuclear test sites on Earth. And the canyon's orientation aligns with other surface anomalies in ways that seem too organized to be natural. But Valles Marineris isn't the only mystery. Let's talk about what else doesn't add up on Mars. The Martian atmosphere has isotope ratios that are deeply unusual. Specifically, Xenon-129 is elevated to levels that on Earth we only see at nuclear test sites in Chernobyl. Brandenburg's controversial research suggests this matches the signature of massive thermonuclear explosions. Mainstream planetary scientists argue these isotopes could result from natural processes we don't fully understand. But they haven't provided a convincing natural mechanism. The data is real. The interpretation remains contentious. NASA's Mars missions have documented structures that shouldn't exist according to conventional geology. The face on Mars in Cydonia was debunked, sure, but that's not the only geometric anomaly. High-resolution imaging has revealed perfectly pyramidal formations in the Elysium Planitia region, crystalline structures that form patterns too regular to be natural erosion, and what researchers call glass tubes, transparent tubular structures that run for kilometers across the surface with uniform diameter. The European Space Agency's Mars Express has been mapping subsurface structures using ground-penetrating radar. What they've found beneath the surface is deeply strange. Massive underground voids arranged in geometric patterns, chambers that appear to be connected by straight-line corridors, and what looks like a network of organized spaces beneath the surface that's far too regular to be random lava tubes. In 2014, the Curiosity rover detected organic molecules in Gale Crater, complex carbon compounds that could indicate past life. In 2018, it found methane fluctuations that spike and recede in patterns that don't match any known geological process. On Earth, 95% of methane is biological in origin. On Mars, we have no explanation for the observed patterns. Here's perhaps the most disturbing finding. Mars's magnetic field didn't just weaken gradually over billions of years. Recent studies confirm it collapsed suddenly, in multiple discrete catastrophic events. Without that magnetic shield, solar winds stripped away the atmosphere at an accelerated rate. What could cause a planet's magnetic field to collapse in sudden bursts rather than gradual decay? Natural processes don't work that way. Planetary dynamos wind down slowly over geological timescales. Multiple rapid collapses suggest massive energy injections into the planet's core, the kind of energy that could result from devastating surface impacts or other catastrophic events. Brandenburg's full hypothesis suggests Mars once hosted two civilizations in different regions. He calls them Cydonia and Utopia, based on the regional names. He believes they were destroyed in a nuclear-scale attack, leaving Mars a dead world. The evidence he cites: Xenon 129 hotspots over Cydonia and Utopia, elevated uranium and thorium in those regions, geometric structures in both areas, and Valles Marineris as a weapon scar. Is Brandenburg right? The mainstream scientific community says absolutely not. And honestly, the ancient Martian nuclear war hypothesis requires extraordinary evidence, which we don't have. But here's what we do have: unexplained isotope signatures, geometric anomalies, a canyon that shouldn't exist based on known geology, subsurface structures too organized to be natural, and a catastrophically collapsed magnetic field. In 2020, scientists confirmed multiple additional anomalies. Martian soil contains glass beads identical to those created in nuclear tests. There are regions where rock has been subjected to temperatures exceeding 10,000 degrees, far higher than any volcanic process on Mars should produce. And high-resolution imaging continues to reveal artificial-looking formations that NASA classifies as interesting geology, but doesn't adequately explain. Could Mars have hosted intelligent life that destroyed itself? That remains speculation. But could Mars have hosted life that was destroyed by some catastrophic event we don't understand? The evidence increasingly suggests that something dramatic happened to Mars beyond normal planetary evolution. In Episode 3, Mars hosts a research station that gets destroyed 90,000 years ago. In reality, Mars is a world that catastrophically lost its habitability under circumstances that continue to puzzle planetary scientists. Whether through natural disaster, self-destruction, or external attack, Mars became a dead world in ways that challenge our models of planetary death. The mysteries are documented. The anomalies are real. And while we may not be ready to conclude that Mars hosted civilizations that fought wars with planet-scarring weapons, we also can't confidently say it didn't. The more we explore Mars, the stranger it becomes. Episode 3 features consciousness transfer, mental telepathy, and minds merging across vast distances. It sounds like pure fantasy, but consciousness research is revealing phenomena that challenge everything we thought we knew about the nature of mind. Let's start with documented phenomena. Dean Radin at the Institute of Noetic Sciences has conducted over 1,000 double-blind experiments on what he calls presentiment, the measurable physiological response to events before they occur. The data, published in peer-reviewed journals, shows statistical significance that consciousness appears to react to future stimuli. Sir Roger Penrose, Nobel Prize winner in physics, and Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, developed orchestrated objective reduction theory, proposing that consciousness arises from quantum processes in brain microtubules. It's controversial, but it's serious science being published in major journals. In 2014, researchers at the University of Washington successfully transmitted brain signals from one person to another, allowing one subject to control another's hand movements purely through thought. In 2019, they achieved brain-to-brain communication of complex concepts across the internet. The Global Consciousness Project, started at Princeton, has been recording data from random number generators worldwide for over 20 years. The data shows statistically significant deviations from randomness during major global events. 9/11, natural disasters, royal weddings. Something is correlating human attention globally in ways we can measure but not explain. Dr. Sam Parnia at NYU has documented over 2,000 cardiac arrest cases where patients reported verified perceptions during periods of clinical death. Flat EEG, no brain activity. These aren't hallucinations. Patients report accurate details from locations they couldn't physically perceive. What does this mean? Either consciousness is somehow non-local, not confined entirely to the brain, or our understanding of time, space, and information transfer is incomplete. Episode 3 explores collective consciousness, merged minds, and consciousness existing beyond physical bodies. Real research suggests reality might be stranger than we thought. Quantum biology is discovering that living systems use quantum effects routinely. Birds navigate using quantum entanglement in their eyes. Plants use quantum coherence in photosynthesis. Your nose distinguishes smells through quantum tunneling. If biology already exploits quantum mechanics, could consciousness? The Valari collective consciousness in Episode 3 represents minds harmonically linked, sharing information while maintaining individual identity. We can't do that yet, but we can measure correlations between brains, transmit thoughts technologically, and detect global consciousness effects. The question isn't whether minds can connect. They demonstrably do. The question is how deeply and through what mechanisms. Episode 3 presents 3 alien civilizations guiding human evolution toward different goals. It's classic ancient astronaut theory. But why does this idea resonate so powerfully across cultures? From Sumerian Anunnaki to Hindu Vimanas, from Aboriginal Wandjina to Hopi Kachinas, cultures worldwide describe beings from the sky who shaped human development. Coincidence? Collective archetype? Or cultural memory of actual events? We have megalithic structures built with precision that challenges modern engineering. Göbekli Tepe, 12,000 years old, required organization that shouldn't exist before agriculture. Pumapunku stone cutting shows tolerances matching modern CNC machines. The Antikythera mechanism was computational astronomy 2,000 years before we invented it. Mainstream archaeology explains these as human ingenuity, not alien intervention. And honestly, that's probably correct. Humans are remarkably capable, and ancient peoples were just as intelligent as we are. But here's what makes the ancient astronaut hypothesis persistent. Gaps in the archaeological record that mainstream science hasn't adequately filled. The sudden appearance of complex written language. The simultaneous development of similar technologies across isolated cultures. The mathematical sophistication in ancient astronomy that required generation-spanning observation programs. Episode 3 doesn't ask, did aliens build the pyramids? It asks a more subtle question. If advanced civilizations encountered developing species, what would ethical intervention look like? The prime directive from Star Trek, active guidance, genetic modification, or the fourth signals approach, providing tools for independence while respecting choice. This isn't about proving alien intervention. It's about asking, if humanity ever encounters less advanced civilizations, what will our ethics demand? That question reveals more about us than about ancient astronauts. Strip away the alien love story, the Mars disaster, the DNA encoding. Episode 3 is asking fundamental questions about consciousness, identity, and what it means to be human. If consciousness can be stored, transmitted, and copied, are you your consciousness? Your body? Your memories? The ship of Theseus paradox becomes urgently personal when technology makes it possible to duplicate minds. The fourth signal represents independence, the right to evolve without guidance. But is that freedom always beneficial? Would humanity be better off with wise alien mentors? Is stumbling toward wisdom through terrible mistakes ethically superior to accepting guidance that prevents suffering? Tavorian and Alia's story explores whether connection requires sacrifice of self. Can you truly merge with another consciousness and remain you? Or does intimacy always mean surrendering parts of individual identity? At its heart, Episode 3 is a love story between incompatible beings who create something new together. That's not about aliens. That's about every relationship between people from different cultures, perspectives, worldviews. Can difference become harmony without one dominating the other? These aren't just science fiction questions. They're immediate concerns as we develop AI, brain-computer interfaces, genetic engineering, and global communication networks. The technologies that would enable the fourth signal scenario, we're building them right now. So where does that leave us? Mars anomalies are documented. Consciousness research reveals non-local phenomena. Ancient cultures describe similar intervention narratives globally. Episode 3 is beautiful fiction. But it's fiction built on a foundation of real science, genuine mysteries, and questions that humanity actually faces. The power of the fourth signal files isn't convincing you that aliens encoded themselves in human DNA. It's making you think about what would happen if they had. What would that mean for human identity? For our cosmic destiny? For the choices we make as a species? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Whether or not aliens are guiding us, we're facing civilizational choices right now. How we handle AI development, genetic engineering, climate change, and potential contact. These decisions will shape human evolution more dramatically than any hypothetical alien intervention. The fourth signal asks, will we choose independence, even if it's difficult? Will we create our own harmony from diverse voices? Or will we surrender choice to whatever external force, technological, political, or otherwise, promises to make the decisions easier? Episode 4 is coming. The spiral choir forms. Humanity's choice approaches. But the real choice isn't fictional. It's happening right now. In laboratories, in policy debates, in how we engage with emerging technologies and global challenges. The signal Tavorian and Alia left was about potential, not prescription. A gift that honored human agency while providing tools for something unprecedented. If we're sending signals to our descendants through the choices we make today, what harmony are we encoding for them? Keep questioning, keep exploring, keep asking what's possible, what's ethical, and what kind of future we're creating. The fourth signal files continues, and so does the real investigation into consciousness, cosmos, and what it means to be human. This has been the fourth signal files, the debrief. Until next time, Resonance. Remember that the most important stories aren't just entertainment. They're rehearsals for choices we'll actually face. Choose wisely.
Song of ending, where stars are born. Echoes in the abyss, they call my name. Faint and haunting, never the same. A cliff's soft hum, it draws me near. Resonance rising, drowning fear. No star.